And we're live.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the heck in the world you are. It's the one majestic ape with the master of the flux capacitor back on another Mornings with V and CJ, Rogue Money Mornings. You can find us on roguemoney.net. If you're not there, you ain't anywhere. You can follow us on Twitter at The Rogue Money. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Apple News. Check us out on soon to be Google News. Don't check us out there, but we're going to soon be there. But check us out on the Google Play Store with our podcasting. That's found everywhere. With that being said, guys, also check out our sponsors, myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. They are booked to high heaven, so you better get on there and get your name on that list. Do not shy away. Learn how you can get debt free, fix your credit, and on top of that, get up to $600,000 in funding. $600,000. That's a lot of Bitcoin, CJ.
A heck of a lot of Bitcoin.
A heck lot of coin, brother.
Dude.
I'm telling you. Huge amounts of Bitcoins. Check them out. Myfreedomnow.us. Book an appointment. Heck, I might even call you. With that being said, Siege, what's going on?
Hey, you know what, V? It is so good. It's so refreshing to see that Trump is showing the Democratic Party that he's not playing games. We finally have some subpoenas in the pipeline. So this is it's very exciting to see this happening.
Subpoenas, bitches. It's about, dude, our main man, Trey Gowdy, was the spearhead on this motion.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
Trey was just chomping at the bit to get at these corrupt, insane, criminal maniacs. I'm telling you right now, I think Susan Rice is on suicide watch. I think right now, John Muhammad, the Wahhabist Brennan, is wondering if Bahrain has extradition treaties. He's looking to get out of Bahrain. And then Samantha Powers is wondering if she can skedaddle back to Ireland from when she came. This is what's going on in their heads. And I'm telling you right now, you guys are in for it. Somebody's going to be singing like a pig. Somebody's going to be singing like a canary. Somebody's going to be squealing. Somebody's going to be crying, apart from Anthony Weiner. I mean, is this coincidence, CJ, that right now you got nothing but arrests and subpoenas going on all over the place, and it's not being reported by the lamestream media?
Not reported at all. And they were given the chance, V. You know, they were given the chance when Trump first took off and said, listen, you know, maybe we give Hillary a get out jail free card, which a lot of people didn't agree with. But, you know, they kept continuing to push this narrative with Russia hacking and the collusion. So there was no choice. And it's great to see these people being called in. The question is, they're gonna plead the fifth? Are they gonna claim executive privilege? However, whenever they do that, they're pretty much saying they have something to hide, V.
Exactly correct, my man. Exactly correct. You know, it's what are they? I mean, they had an opportunity to go quietly into the night. They just didn't. They realized, a lot of people say, well, they, they had an opportunity to leave, but they didn't take it. No, when Trump came to power, they knew what was happening. They knew that was happening. This is not kabuki theater in that sense. And then, again, there's some things that he still needs to work on, that he needs to still get a control of, especially sections of the armed forces in which the deep state still operates, which is okay, which is fine. We'll get there. But in order to deal with enemies abroad, you have to deal with enemies within. And I think right now we're seeing a lot of that. I'm hoping, CJ, I'm hoping somebody goes to jail with these subpoenas. This is huge. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, so it's huge. You know, obviously they're going to lawyer up. They're going to, try to extend this out as much as possible. But it's just great to see, going on the offensive. V, something that we continuously talk about here at Rogue Money, is that we want to see some arrests. We want to see some of these people prosecuted for the crimes that were committed. And obviously, if Trump has absolutely nothing to hide, then go ahead. Absolutely, this was the right move. This was exactly the right move to say, okay, well, wait a minute. If you're stating that Trump was involved with the Russians and collusions, how did this information come forth, and this unmasking, and how far back does it go? Who's involved? Who are the players? So this is huge.
Yep. Yep. And we spoke about collusion and being huge. We have none other than Stephen Wasserman, the assistant U.S. attorney at the United States Attorney's Office in the District of Columbia.
Yeah. So
And
this
what's
comes.
this connection to Seth Rich, man?
So Steve Wasserman Schultz happens to be the brother of the former DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So Stephen Wasserman is an assistant U.S. attorney, V, and he sits in the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Columbia.
Wow. Of course, there's no coincidence there.
No coincidence. Nothing to look at. Look the other way.
All
Look
the evidence that's coming about of the Seth Rich case, the retards over at Certainly Not News Network, okay, the Certainly Not News Network, CNN, they had that little emo. That you see that video they put out about Seth Rich. They were trying to debunk all of us that were trying to go after this whole Seth.
Conspiracy
this emo-looking kid who looks like he has the testosterone of a 5-year-old, right? This androgynous-looking dweeb was out there saying, "So when will the Seth Rich conspiracy theories just simply go away? When will you go away, numbnuts? When will you go away?" Because when you look at the like to dislike ratio on that video, CJ, it was like 3,000 or 5,000 dislikes to maybe 161 likes. That just shows you how out of touch CNN is. You idiots do not control the narrative anymore. I don't know what it is about these morons, CJ, that they just don't get it. They don't control the narrative, but they're trying to be like, hey, look, nobody believes you. It's like showing up to a kid's party where all the kid knows the cheesy tricks of the magician. It's laughable, man.
You know, and to think that the Democratic Party is giving a complete pass. You know, you think back to what exactly they did. They rigged an election, B. They rigged an election for Hillary Clinton. And there's tons of people, tons of Democrats, you know, hard left, whatever, that are willing to give the party a pass for doing this, V. That's what's insane. People don't care. People don't care that this whole primary for the Democratic Party was rigged. Okay, they don't care. And then to step forward to say that there was a potential that there was somebody who leaked the information that's the true source, a true patriot, right? With Seth Rich, a true patriot that said, you know what, this isn't right. I don't agree with it. It's not the right thing to do. And then there's no investigation, B.
Right.
And who would have had the capability of possibly, you know, sweeping that under the rug, possibly sweeping over, keeping from any type of investigation?
I don't know, maybe a district attorney who happens to be related to the DNC chair at the time that this whole entire thing went off. I don't know.
Very potentially.
Why is it the alt media yet again, CJ, yet again, we are doing the friggin' jobs of the mainstream media and these investigators? It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And again, this just goes back to the high crimes that were committed. It goes back to the whole Clinton body count, something that seriously needs to be, you know, taken a look at along with the criminal investigation in terms of the unmasking of the Trump. So this is definitely breaking news. This is very exciting. You know, hopefully it gets in the hands of the right people. However, there's a lot of pressure on some of the people in the mainstream media, V, to look the other way, to not get involved. That's why it's important that we keep this alive.
Yep, absolutely, man. We got to keep it going, and until somebody cracks here. And which brings us to why the left has completely lost 2020, bro. I'll let you start off on the two, and then I'm going to break the whole damn thing down. Go ahead.
You know, this is something that's been reported numerous times in regards to, you know, why the Democratic Party doesn't want any type of voter ID. You see it in numerous states that they don't want any type of identification. They don't want to have to be a citizen to vote. And now there's a lot of information, V, coming forth, in particular in one county in Virginia, just breaking out and showing how much fraud is involved with people who are voting that shouldn't be, V.
Yeah, absolutely correct, man. And you know what? Which brings us to the second story. And I'm going to tie it again all together and break it down for you all. And I'm going to show you that Donald Trump going to 2020 is absolutely unstoppable. Go ahead, Siege.
Yeah, so in this one particular county, it took a look at voting ranks of people that should have been scrubbed, 5,500 non-U.S. citizens, and this is in Fairfax County in Virginia. Now, these non-citizen registrants should have been purged from the system. However, when you go back and you take a look at it, dated several years, you see that these people voted over and over, and the multitude of these illegal votes that occurred. When you look at this one particular county, it's a very heavy DNC, very wealthy area, that in Fairfax County, that their amount of illegal votes was like 10 times any normal county for any type of voting in terms of illegal votes. So This one county in particular was definitely involved with potentially trying to rig the election in Virginia.
Absolutely. And here's the deal. This is why Donald Trump is going to be a shoo-in to win 2020. There's a lot of people that are listening to this broadcast that have also listened to others out there, and they're worried about the left. Okay, they're worried about the left is surging and being energized. Okay, I'm going to remind you guys a couple of things, and I was talking to a family member about this and breaking the whole thing down, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why the left will not win in 2020 and why it's completely lost to them. And then when it happens, you can thank me later. First and foremost, okay. A lot of people have under the impression, CJ, that in the 2016 election, that people in the left, not all of them came out to vote. And that's simply not true. The same amount of people that came out to vote in 2016 were the same amount of people that came out to vote in 2008 and in 2012 with the election of Barry Insane Hussein Obama. And yet, what happened is that they've lost. What was the changing of the tide? Well, the changing of the tide is this. The independents that got people who are independent, or those who are middle of the road, who are sitting on the fence, who voted for Barry the first two go rounds, giving that idiot a chance, realized how screwed up the country is, and they went for Trump. Data speaking, like demographically speaking, and according to data, those types of people tend to vote for the same guy twice. Okay, they're going to vote for Trump again. That's a shoo-in. Secondly, the illegals. Okay, we know that illegals were voting for the DNC, okay, in Democratic counties multiple times. What's happened since Trump came into power, CJ? What is the percentage right now down of illegals?
Well, it's significant, V. You're seeing not only the influx of people trying to come over, but you're seeing also a large amount of illegals that have broken crimes here in the States being deported.
Exactly. 76% down in terms of people coming across the border. 76%. It's almost 80%, bro. I mean, it's ridiculous. 76% down because they're fearful. So there goes the Democrats' voter base. Hence why Hillary, I wear Caesar glasses, Clinton, was out there on Memorial Day, on a cloudy, rainy day, wearing her blue Carl Zeiss lens, Z1 anti-Caesar glasses, walking around Chappaqua. I was hoping that somebody would just come up and snatch her glasses and run away and watch that bitch go into a convulsion and die on the street. That'd be wonderful. But that's not going to happen. So here she was walking around. What was her main thing? To increase the Democratic voter polls by making illegals legal. Again, that's her pitch. I mean, this woman's so out of touch, it's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. So the Democrats have lost their immigrant leader, their immigrant voter base. Okay, their illegal immigrant voter base. It's gone. The other thing is this: people are worried about these millennials who are going to vote this time. Well, those millennials are apathetic. One thing you got to understand about these retarded millennials: most of you millennials are retards, except for the few of those that are awake. Thank God there are those that are awake. But the retarded millennials, the half-baked snowflakes. Okay, the half-baked snowflakes, the problem with the half-baked snowflakes is this, CJ. They are not real activists. They're not like the real liberal activists of the 60s who were, who had a cause to fight for and fight for injustice and all those wonderful things. No. These guys are not activists. They are reactionary. In other words, they like to sit around on their ass. They're not going to join and go forth and vote when they can go out and riot, okay? They're not going to show up to the polls, okay? And the other thing is, there is another generation, CJ, that will be of voting age by the time that Trump gets into power. And guess who that is? Generation Z's oldest members will be old enough to vote in the 2020 election. Generation Z, which is the most conservative generation since World War II, thank you, Jesus, has now will be able to vote. So these are just the hallmarks, and the left knows this, CJ. That is why they're in a panic. That's why when you look at the only outlets they have, which is mainstream media, look at Rachel Madcow. Her ratings are through the roof. Now, you might say to yourself, oh, my God, the ratings for Rachel Madcow are through the roof. There must be a liberal upsurge in the country. No, it's not. All she's doing is because she's the most vitriolic and most left-wing right now of all the hosts. She is just recycling audiences from CNN, okay? She's recycling audiences from CNN and other news shows that are left-leaning to her because she's the most vitriolic and most far left-wing. It's the same numbers. Their numbers haven't grown at all. It's like, I give an example. It's like you have a small town. You got, 10 gyms. You got those 10 gyms in a small town. They're not increasing gym membership. They're just recycling membership amongst themselves. Same thing with the mainstream networks. It doesn't matter, if Mad Cows, went from 1 million to 1.6 million. Who cares? Because that 0.6 million that she got is from CNN. So it doesn't matter, CJ. It doesn't matter. Okay? And this is the whole entire point. These guys are done for going to 2020. They don't have a viable candidate, and they can't pick one. And what is the worst thing that I said specifically, CJ, back in September, October, I said this. The worst thing that could happen to these morons is to double down and go more far left. And what do? They went more far left, which is what they did. They alienated more of their voter base. This guy, Seth Rich, just wanted Bernie to win, fair and square. That's what got him pissed off. And these guys are so out of touch, and this is why they're going to get creamed in 2020, CJ.
Yeah, very well said, V. And there's some great people in the Democratic Party. Okay, the people that were based upon true liberal ideology regarding freedom, regarding independence, and all those things. But that party has been completely transformed. V.
Exactly. It's just there's great members like Dennis Kucinich and my future baby mama Tulsi Gabbard.
And V, you're exactly right. You're exactly right regarding they go back and they align around the same. So, here you have, last week, Hillary Clinton announces she's starting a super PAC for 2020 considerations. And V, yesterday, Joe Biden comes out and he's launching a PAC as well, V. So,
oh my God, a PAC of what?
they just sealed their fate. If they're going to go back to, Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and not offer, anything new, I encourage all Democrats, become a libertarian, join a different party, because, there's nothing that they have anything new to offer you other than the same old dying paradigm that's been there for the last several years, V.
And it doesn't friggin' work. Hey, it's so funny. I had a family member point this out. Whose head did Kathy Lee Griffin cut? Was it Trump's head or was it her own?
It was her own.
Bingo! And that's what the left is doing, man. Everything they're doing is backfiring. It's a wonderful thing. All right, man. Ethereum to surpass Bitcoin, bro.
Yeah, so this is interesting to watch. I believe, is it Ether? Is Ether Ethereum's Bitcoin? So now we're seeing a whole slew of banking, companies, JP Morgan, Microsoft, all these companies that are signing up for the actual blockchain technology that Ethereum offers. And primarily they're doing this because they're estimating the amount of funds this could save those companies, V. They're looking at the 10 largest banks saving anywhere between $8 to $12 billion a year on infrastructure costs by moving to the blockchain.
Yep.
So by those estimates, that's why you're seeing primarily the MSM and then also corporate America move favorably to Ethereum.
I think this is huge. This is what Bix was talking about yesterday. He was talking about Ethereum being huge. Vin Armani, go back and listen to the interview that I had with Vin Armani. Vin's like, could Ethereum be the next thing? He's like, he's feeling strong about Ethereum. I feel strong about Ethereum. I'm glad to be purchasing Ethereum in full disclosure. I'm not giving you guys financial advice and telling you to buy stocks or this, that, or giving you recommendations. I'm just giving you what I like. And cryptos that I like, man, I like Ethereum. I like it a lot. And the thing is this, it's I mean, when you look at the market cap, all right, just by how the adaptation rate, number one, scalability, number two, the amount of applications and platforms being developed for it, okay? You take that all into consideration, you do a proper market cap calculation. The market cap on Ethereum will be bigger than Bitcoin, guaranteed. And it could happen, some experts saying, like this guy Wilson was talking about, perhaps even by the end of the year. Massive upside. So if 2,000, something dollar Bitcoin is too much for you, maybe 200 something bucks Ethereum is something you can jump into. That's what I'm saying.
Good call. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a perfect breakdown. Absolutely.
The Russian game changer, buddy. What's going on over there?
So you saw last week the U.S. hyped up their ability to shoot down a missile. You saw that test that they did on the West Coast.
Yeah, which is totally like a Hollywood production. It was set up. I mean, it was so badly done. But go ahead.
So the U.S. is priding itself on the ability to shoot down a intercontinental ballistic missile V. However, Russia just announced they came up with, and they tested 5 times, their new hypersonic, unstoppable 4,600 mile per hour weapon that there's no defense system in the world. This is like 5 generations ahead of anything that the U.S. has to offer me. This thing, it can take the warhead that it's capable on this thing can be everything from nuclear, and this thing is so fast. It's just truly amazing to witness this. So the U.S. better start thinking a little bit differently now as far as defense and exactly how they're moving in terms of some of the geopolitical arenas that they're moving to with pushing Russia.
Yep. Absolutely. I've always said the Russians are at least 2 generations ahead in missile technology. And again, here is proof. What the U.S. is producing these days is overpriced garbage. It is marketing hype. Do not fall for it. Do not take seriously the idiot that looks you in the face and tells you that the F-35 is like an invisible Muhammad Ali. Don't believe that bullcrap. Don't believe marketing lines like 5th generation. That's a marketing term. Don't believe marketing terms like stealth. That's a marketing term. Nothing is invisible to radar. That is BS. It's a marketing term. So when these idiots are talking about a THAAD missile system, which is only slightly better than a Patriot, which is a garbage, both of them suck. It's which of them sucks the least, it will be a THAAD in comparison to the highly accurate, highly effective, highly mobile, highly unstoppable stuff that the Russians have. There's just no comparison. And the Russians are doing it for a fraction of the cost. They're making better equipment. Why? Because you don't have the bureaucracy cost built into the Russian weapon systems. Whereas in the Americans, you have, you're paying a premium. Not only are you getting a piece of crap, but you're getting a premium tacked onto it thanks to the military-industrial complex. And the military-industrial complex never was designed. They don't want any sort of a large-scale thermonuclear war where all life on Earth is wiped out. They just want to be able to create tension in order to sell crap. That's what they're about, folks. They're businessmen. They're in the business of fear. So they're in the fear business, and they want to peddle as much fear porn as possible. They want to make sure that they sell crap at a great price. So that's why the Russians make better stuff than we do. The Zircon is unstoppable, man. Total game changer. It could take out a carrier, CJ.
I know. Can't imagine that. That's incredible.
Goodbye, Paris Climate Gate, CJ.
Yeah, this is great news. Something that Trump campaigned on, and there was a little bit at the beginning that Ivanka came out and said, well, maybe we're not going to exit out of it. We're going to try to encourage our dad to rethink it and everything, and then boom. Trump goes, his trip to the EU and says, you know what, maybe this isn't something that we're going to sign up for. Now we're having multiple news agencies reporting that, in fact, the U.S. is going to back out of the Paris Climate Accords, which is great news.
Absolutely. And for you libtards out there that don't know what that means, you weenies who've never built anything in your life, who never studied anything, who are allergic to such things as mathematics, I'll explain it to you. There's no such thing as a green economy. Every country that tried a green economy, they lost jobs. they lost industry. Okay. And what most people don't realize, with modern technology, you could have what's called clean coal, where there's filtration units that are put into the smokestacks of the coal fire factories. What's happening, what's coming out, it's just pure water. It's almost steam that's coming out. It's clean. Okay, so this whole clean renewable energy bullcrap, it's double speak. Okay, it's new speak for deindustrialization. It is the end of human life. Carbon, 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 carbon. You morons are talking about carbon dioxide, yet you don't even know what the role of carbon dioxide is on an environmental scale. You morons don't understand the point. How much carbon dioxide or man-made carbon dioxide is actually put out there in terms of the atmosphere in total percentage? It's less than 1%. It's not driving climate change and global temperature. Number one. Number two, you morons, the Earth has never had a stable climate. What type of bullcrap rainbow unicorn land do you live in? Number three, it is the sun and the sun cycle again and again and again that drives global temperature. Hence, you have planets like Mars, CJ, that are getting warmer and colder, and their climates are shifting just like ours. Is it because there's SUVs and coal-fired power plants on Mars? No. Thank God we're getting out of this mess.
Yeah, just amazing the statistics when you look at it, V, as well. This thing was, over the course of several years would have driven down our GDP by over 2.5 trillion. I mean, the loss of 400,000 jobs, the impact it would have made on several states. This was just an attempt to, again, just continue deindustrializing the U.S., V, and just really shift the powers. And if you look at the companies that supported this, nothing but mega companies. And why? Because they could afford to pay for this, but not your average, startup, your newer companies, middle class America. This would have shot our energy cost up, be on an actual basis at over 5 years, at a probably an average, maybe 15% year increase would have been anywhere between probably $15,000 to $20,000 out of household incomes in the United States, V. So this is just, again, there's so much more involved other than just the climate of how this would have impacted us here in the United States. So goodbye, and let's sign off on it and be done with this whole nonsense.
Absolutely agree with that. And with that being said, Siege, we're at the end of the broadcast. We have Hanging with Harley today, as well as Cuss with Gus, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, guys, we are over and out. And again, check out our sponsors, myfreedomnow.us. Get out of debt, fix your credit, get your money, hit the lottery. We're out.